Okay, so this might be pretty quick and organic, so just hang tight. If I miss anything, I'll put it down in the comments or on my webpage. First, on the Stack momentum, I'm sure many of you have heard about it, but I think an underappreciated tool is the counter Pomodoro style on the upper right for deep work and accountability. Another Chrome extension I love that you can also use on your phone is Readwise Reader. I don't use vanilla Readwise so much, but the Reader is great because you can save stuff for later. They have a text to voice, so you can create your own podcasts basically. And you don't have to have a lot of tabs open. Switching gears a little bit more to actual academic and tools for thought. I love Paperpile. A lot of my friends use Zotero. I think I did try it. I don't remember how well the iPad app worked, but sometimes when I'm tired of coding, I just want to use my iPad to read papers and I don't have a printer. So I love that it lets you highlight in different colors and then that I can handwrite, which for me is super important to digest the paper. I used to make an outline also as I was reading the paper through Logseq. And I did try Obsidian as well. So if you're not familiar with these platforms, they embed your notes into a graph that then allows you to draw connections between ideas that you wouldn't have if you hadn't visualized or engaged with them in that way. Honestly, I didn't use it as much, and it was a bit too cumbersome switching the context switch between this and Notion, because Notion is where I have most of my personal. And so now I just use Notion, but I use it professionally as well. I actually found that a lot of the biotech startups that I was working with were using Notion. So it worked perfectly, and it's actually great with LaTeX and code. Not perfect, but enough. Then more of like a lifestyle tool is this Morgan calendar. So Notion has their own calendar, and they have recently added this functionality to drag from your to-do list if you have a Notion database. But for me, I just love that you can, once you do a task, it pops up like this, and that kind of feedback makes a difference for me. Now, if you see this gadget here, it integrates or syncs with Todoist, which is where I manage most of my tasks. This has been a game changer for me in a very literal sense, because I used to only drop down and select done from a Notion database, which honestly wasn't cutting it for me. The last thing I wanted to do at the end of the day was look at another data frame. So I love the organization that Todoist has, and the kind of motivation, the nudges that they give you. I'm going through this quite fast, but I don't want to make it a video that's too long. So I love listening to podcasts. I know a lot of my friends do also, and they use either Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And I think Spotify has recently added the ability to see the chapters. But I think something unique to Snip is that once you listen to something that resonates with you, you can save it and then go back and listen to it. So it's actually quite nice because more of what you're listening to is sticking with you. Copilot is a finance app, money tracking, that I used to use because I'm one of those people that like to have different cards for different things, and I've been contracting for periods of my life where I had different sources of income, so it's good to have more of a budget. And one tip I heard from another contractor was that no matter if her income varies each month, she always paid herself the same salary. That way it wasn't so unpredictable. And the months obviously where she got more, she just put it in her savings account, and when she had less, she used from that. So I think that gives more of a stable nature to independent research or contracting work. Now I'm trying Monarch, and it hasn't been enough time for me to tell you which one I like the best, but I'll get back to you on that. Safety Wing, when you contract or do independent research, most companies or organizations won't offer you the benefit of an insurance, and so you have to find that for yourself. And I feel like the prices, the rates for Safety Wing are pretty competitive, and they're also pretty comprehensive if you get them. They have like one tier. I can't remember what's it called, but yeah, feel free to look at it. And the last one I use is Proton Mail for the LLC I have. And it also has VPN and things like this, but I just find their whole pitch is like Swiss security. And yeah, I think it's pretty important in these days. Actually, the very last thing is my Rollband notebook, which I love. It's just the color of the pages, the feel. They're not German, they're actually Japanese, and they're sold in Paris and some like bespoke craft stores. But yeah, whenever I can write down my notes on paper and pen, I do it. Let me know if this was useful and if you want me to walk you through some of the setups I have for any of these apps. I didn't do it today because then I would have to blur. But yeah, hope you find it helpful.